Out of his fullness, we have all received grace out of his grace already given. That's John 1:16. We're living in an age of grace, and we need that grace to fill in all the gaps of our own wisdom, knowledge, gaps of our discernment, gaps in our decision making, gaps in the ways in which we've been deceived. I've been deceived many times in my life, and there's a lesson learned every time that happens. We all have blind spots, but the grace of God fills in the gaps so long as you don't allow the God of this world to steer you into a place where you are no longer loving those around you. As long as you are loving others, being of service and not of self-service, you are allowing the grace of God to work in and through you. Just as we receive his grace, as we receive his forgiveness, we're to give it to others. Love covers up a multitude of sins, and that love is expressed when we are being the arms and the legs, the hands, the feet, the ears of God, the eyes of God here. Just sometimes listening to a brother or sister going through something, helping whenever you can, being of service. God uses all things. Paul zealously persecuted and hunted down Christians, as I mentioned yesterday. But he was doing it thinking he was working for the Lord. But he was working under grace. So the Lord opened his eyes because he knew his intentions when he was hunting down Christians were actually righteous in his motives. He was serving the Lord in his own mind, so he just needed to be corrected. So the grace of God came and opened his eyes so that his zeal to serve the Lord was now refocused in the Lord's direction and not in a direction that was, propagated by legalism and religiosity of those who were selfishly using their status as the chosen ones, the Israelites, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the ones who elevated their own status above that of God and allowed man-made law to trump God's law. So when we realize that we all need the grace of God and it fills in all of the gaps, we're all part of a giant broken puzzle and only God can glue us all together. Understand we're living in an age of grace. We need to hold on to it and we need to allow it to work through us so we can all be part of the solution and not part of the problem. Thank you, Jesus, for the grace that we only receive through you. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow.